quilting friends, I'm Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts. Welcome to Quilting Window and welcome into our small classroom. I'm so happy you join us in. Today is a very special day. We're gonna be working on our center block. We only have to make one of them and it is a very special block called Feather Star. I'm super excited to share with you everything I know how to make this block, and I hope you learned today a lot of fun new things. Many times when I design a quilt, I want a centerpiece. I like to put fun colors in that inside of this block, and I want to reflect those colors into the border. Tomorrow, you're going to learn about the border and you're going to be using similar fabrics that we have it in a center. It ties the design together for me. Many times I like to do that. This Feather Star block is super simple, so easy, no wide seams, just tiny bit of patience from you. I already pulled the pattern for center block and have it in front of me. For anybody that is joining me in, I love, and it's just brand new to it, I love for you guys to join us in. You can do it. I know we are almost to the end for everyone that has started on the 2nd of September, but you can join in anytime. Go back to the classes and see if you want to make this quilt with us. The videos and kits and patterns, everything and blocks will stay on our website available for you guys to join in anytime you would like. Now we do have some kits. They're the scrappy ones, and we have the pre-cut ones. I don't know how many there is left, but I'm hoping there is still one for you guys if you want to join in. Pattern is also available on our website. Now let's start it with our center block. There are two color options that we're working with. We have the scrappy option and we have the pre-cut Twinkle Star option. The pre-cut Twinkle Star option has beautiful blues, shading from dark to light with nice dark points, the big ones. This one, I chose a really beautiful print from a collection that we have that it's 108-inch wide. So when you open your fabric, you're gonna notice it's wider than normal because we cut it in half and split it for our kids. It's not the 44, it's gonna be at least 50 to 54 inches wide. You're gonna have plenty of this fabric, and I love the colors in that one. I also pull other fabrics for the center because I wanted to something super special, and I changed my background comparing to all the other backgrounds in the blocks. I hope you enjoy that and enjoy some of that scrappy feel. With this, I want to teach you that if you have a pattern and the backgrounds are all the same, but if you do not have enough fabric, choose the blocks that matters to you, and you can emphasize them by changing the design right there in the center. And I also would put some scrappy fabric in the corner to tie it together. So that way you can add to the design of the quilt and use up whatever you have in your stash. So that is one quick lesson about the colors for you guys. Now let's get into our block and let's start it. For all my students that are cutting the fabrics, I hope you cut your fabrics yesterday so you are ready for the class. If you did not, make sure you're following this cutting chart for all of the fabrics so that way you position them right and cut the correct pieces. All right, let's do it. The first thing that we're gonna be making is half square triangles. You are so familiar with them. You're taking a light, you're taking a dark, you're placing them right sides together, stitching, pushing the seam allowance towards the dark. These half square triangles are nice and small. They're only 2 3/8, and we're gonna be making 8 of them for the block. We have a second color right here that we also gonna be assembling as half square triangle. Don't forget that you have to trim those bunny ears to make your triangles nice and beautiful. The finished size of your triangle should be 2 inches by 2 inches. Make sure you check all of them before you start assembling the block. Then we need the square. We're gonna place the square right here. Then we're gonna line up our pieces Let me show you how. I'm gonna trim some of those triangles. I always like to have it nice and clean. Okay, we're placing it and I'm following my pattern right here on the page number 18. Step 2 shows you how to line all your pieces. It's very important you follow the pattern because sometimes it's easy to get distracted and you don't want it to have to use a seam ripper and take things apart, especially for your center block. So taking your time, laying all your pieces down, making sure that matches the pattern is very important. We're gonna be making 4 units like this. There is a little square that we're gonna be using it right here in a corner. I don't have one right there. I must have misplaced it, but that's okay. For now, all that I'm gonna focus is to sew my triangles together, and then I'm gonna add that low square. I already did that. I probably had that square, but I sewed it right into this unit. So look at this. We have a 1 row and a 2nd row. This is what you need to make. Follow the pressing directions. It will pay off because now we're gonna take this unit, place it right sides together. We're gonna stitch right here, going through those crossing of the threads to make sure that we didn't lose any points. We're gonna flip it open. We're gonna push the seam allowance towards the square. Now notice this seam allowance is pushed towards the small square, so everything when we place it this way, it's gonna lock for us right here. Let me show you that unit. Look at that. See how nice the seams locked right here? All my seam allowances are pushed the way how they're in a pattern. Now the next thing that I'm gonna do, I have to add those little triangle points to this unit. I'm gonna center it up and place it right over, just like this. Okay, how do you find the center? You press it in half, you find the middle, and then when you open it up, you're gonna know that same distance is thinking here and here. You're gonna stitch right down and flip it open. Then you're gonna do the same thing on this side, stitch and flip it open. This is an important part because we don't want to lose points here. So when you're stitching, pay attention to the threads in the back. So you can always position your triangles on the top so you see where the threads are crossing. Where's the threads crossing? You can open it up. The crossing is here. So mark it and pin it. But also what is important is as soon as you finish sewing this to this, how do you make sure that this area right here is the correct size? Your center square that you're gonna be sewing to this unit tells you the measurements. The center square is 6 7/8. So right here, from here to here, it should be 6 7/8. And you can take a larger ruler than this one. This one is only 6.5. You need at least 8.5, so that way you can see the 6 7/8. Place it right over and check that the measurements right here are correct. If you need to, you can trim it and trim it on this side, making sure that you stay nice and close, that you don't lose any points right here, and make sure that this point right here is have enough room, a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I finished mine and I was so happy that everything came out right. I'm gonna flip it to the back so that way you see it. I'm gonna put my ruler right over just so you see the corners. This ruler is not big enough, so notice I need the 6 7/8, but I can already, when I put the ruler, I was able to see it, what's going on, and I used the larger ruler. Oh, perfect, I have an 8.5. I was worried I didn't bring one. So right there, place it and notice it. Look at 6 7/8. I laid my ruler, I trimmed it, centered up, so right there, the middle, so that way I have an equal, nice, trim it, and then you go ahead and it is time to sew those units, this one to this side and this one to this side of the center. The remaining 2 units, because you're gonna be making 4 of them, are so fun and so easy to work with. This is gonna be the center row with the center of the square. Then to the remaining 2, you're gonna sew triangle on a left and a right. Those triangles were cut before, and right there, because the seam allowance goes towards the center, you're gonna match on the left, right here, pin it, and you're gonna match on the right side, right there. I am so happy how this came out, and I tell you, just tiny bit of patience. Do not stress about it. You're gonna match. You're gonna make sure that there is a 1/4 inch seam allowance sticking out on each side right here. Do you see? Right there. Make sure you pin it. All those pins gonna come so handy when you are working on this, because you want your blocks to come out nice and you want to have some fun and a beautiful project to show off with. And this is your center block, so it has to be nice. You're gonna be putting it in the center. But I have something for you in case things don't come out right. Make sure when you're stitching that you go through this crossing right here, so you have a nice transition. Even if you have to pin it this way, look at what I just did. So it's holding it right where I need it, and I stitch, and I can just move that pin out of my way. You can do that too. You don't always have to have pins this way. Then you can go ahead, flip it open, do the same thing on this side, and you're gonna have a beautiful, beautiful center block. Once you finish your block, it should be 17 inches by 17 inches unfinished. Then you're gonna go, if it's not, do not fear, nothing is lost. You have strips, and we cut, for our pre-cut kit, we cut the strips a little bit bigger, so you trim it down if you need it, or if you need the length, you have it. But what you're going to do is you're gonna place your strips right over your block, and you're gonna stitch it to the top and the bottom, and then you have 2 other strips that are even longer, and you're gonna be sewing them on the left and the right of your beautiful block, because you're gonna be able to add that little frame, and that frame is gonna make sure that you square your block with that frame, and then you double check your block after adding the frame to it should be 18 by 18 inches. I was just checking the measurements, 18 by 18. Once I have my darn pressed, I'm pretty sure I just trimmed that 1/2 inch from my because I told you we cut it 1/2 inch bigger. I can already tell things are gonna work out nice, so I can trim that 1/2 inch. Is supposed to be 17 by 17. We cut a 1/2 inch bigger just in case some of our customers need it. And sometimes on the longer strip, when you press it, fabric shrink, so we want for you to have little extra. So right there, you're gonna sew it top, bottom, left, right, and you're gonna have a gorgeous center block. I hope you enjoyed this. This is the easiest feather star to make with those beautiful triangles, extra fun look to it. You can use this block for pillows because 18 by 18, it's a beautiful pillow, or you can use for any other projects, but I love having it in the center of my quilt. It adds so much fun design to it, and as I said, this design will reflect into our beautiful blue border that we're gonna learn how to do it tomorrow. Happy quilting, and I hope you enjoy a feather star with me.